So we're going to do one more relative extrema problem. Find the relative extrema of the function x to the fourth plus 1 over x squared. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my function. I can split it up into two fractions. So f of x is x squared plus x to the negative second. This will just make it easier so I don't have to use the quotient rule when I find the derivative. F prime of x will be 2x minus 2x to the negative third. So my derivative here, and I can go ahead and get a common denominator. It would be x cubed, so this would be 2x to the fourth. You can even factor out a 2 out of here. If I go ahead and factor the 2 out, and then I want to factor the numerator as much as I possibly can. So this will factor into 2x squared minus 1, x squared plus 1. And then you can factor x squared minus 1. It's a difference of squares, so you can factor it as x minus 1, x plus 1. And then we want to write down what our critical numbers are. So we're going to set, where's f prime of x undefined? It's undefined when x equals 0. Now, technically, this is not a critical number. And the reason is, if you look back at your function, if I look back here, f of x is undefined for x equal to 0. So because my function is undefined at 0, it can't be a critical number, but we are still going to include it in our number line. And then I also want to know where's f prime of x equal to 0. So you're going to set the numerator equal to 0. So the only ones that are going to give you solutions are x minus 1 and x plus 1. They give you 1 and negative 1. So on my number line, I need to mark all three of these numbers. I need to mark negative 1, 0, and 1. And again, you're going to have these 4 intervals, and you're going to have to pick test numbers. So pick negative 2, pick negative 1/2, 1/2, and a number bigger than 1. Let's pick 2 and plug them into our derivative and see what is the sign. So I'm just going to plug it into one of them. Let's just do one of these. Negative 2 times negative 2 minus 1, negative 2 plus 1, negative 2 squared would be 4 plus 1. And then it was over x cubed, so negative 2 cubed. So let's look at our sign here. Let's see, the 2 is positive. Here I get a negative. And then here it's also negative. negative, negative. And then this one over here is positive over a negative cubed. That's negative. So the numerator would be positive. The denominator would be negative. So overall, it would be negative. And you're going to repeat this for the other test numbers. If you plug in 1/2, you should see that it's positive, negative 1/2, it's positive. 1/2, it'll be negative. 2, it'll be positive. And so remember that this is not going to be 0 is not a critical number. Your function's not defined at 0. So the only two possible relative extrema come from -1 and 1. My function's decreasing and then increasing. So this is a relative minimum. Here it's decreasing and then increasing. It's a relative minimum as well. So we get two relative minimums. And they occur when x equals 1 and when x equals -1. And you can go back to your original function. If I plug in 1, I would get 2. -1, you'd also get 2. So there are my relative minimums. And it has no relative maximum. So it only has relative minimums.